Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Or whatever.
How about this, Cowboys?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Jersey Boyz Podcast right here on the Chop Sports Media YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts. It is the final episode of the 2024 season. It is Dave Sturchio, his nationally known comedian Bret Ernst, and is the Grinch, who's also supporting his Tony Dorsett and Randy White bobblehead day today. So that's cool. I guess
because my studio is generic. Like Bret has a nice cowboy thing. You're like you got the backdrop and you like, and then you look behind me in my vintage 1970 wallpaper.
You did get called out for your wallpaper once upon a time,
and that's where Keith lives as a Cowboys fan in the 70s and 80s.
That's know what? Never change, Keith. Listen. So the Cowboys drop their final game to the Washington Commanders in heartbreaking fashion. I really thought there was a shot that we had
I'm glad we lost.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, like it determined the 12th to the 14th pick or whatever. I don't give a fuck about any of that. But
why.
Go ahead.
If we would have beat Philly and then beat Washington, I would be sick to my stomach over that Cincinnati game. It just made it more digestible. That's all. It's a selfish reason.
Okay, I get it. But
like I hate doing the what could have been.
I got a question.
I got a question for you. Then would you
Speaking
have rather?
of Mike, bro.
I got a question.
Jesus
would you guys have? You can't hear me?
No, we're good now. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
All right. Would you have rather went out like Cincinnati or like we went out?
For my mental clarity, I would have rather lost out and said, you know what, fuck it, we're out. Like
Cincinnati came down to the 4 o'clock game. See me? I would have rather the Cincinnati way.
Oh, I don't know if
but we're in it. We would have been in it the last few weeks. Like you still.
We were. I mean, technically, we kind of were in it for
Cincinnati won out. Like
I know
they had nothing to be. You know what I mean?
Cincinnati.
They caught heat at the wrong. At the wrong time. I want to say
from everybody. From everybody I've talked to, like Cincinnati was a team that nobody wanted to touch in the playoffs.
So I meant to tell you guys that. So one of my buddies, his name's Tamba. He's a ref where I play football. He's a huge Redskin fan. Huge, knows everything about the Cowboys, everything. Just a historian of the NFL, but it's specifically the Redskins. But that's what he told me, dude. He's like, man, he goes, he literally came out and said, the one team Washington did not want to play was the Cowboys. Like to decide to go to the playoffs, like that last game.
Interesting.
They were so happy when Cincinnati beat us because they knew that there was a good chance that our game would have decided going to them, but they were fearing us, kind of like, because we were getting hot, man, at the time.
Yeah, I mean, we got Micah back, and the defense started playing together, and Cooper Rush was playing competent football, and Rico Dowdle was running the rock, and. By the way, did you guys know about the incentive about Cooper Rush? Are you hearing about this? Man, It's like
what was the incentive?
The incentive is if you played 52% or one of the percentages. 52% of the snaps of the season, that he would get some significant bonus because he's a back.
250,000.
And they
250,000.
So $250,000, and they benched him for the last game. So he couldn't get the snaps.
Let him go in to have one snap.
Nothing.
Like,
Zero.
That's the whole thing. And then Jerry Jones was like, he said he didn't know about
it. First of all, Jerry Jones, if you want to continue to call yourself a fucking GM, you got to know these things. And I think he did. You know what I mean? Like
on the flip side, did you see what the Bucs did? Did you see what the Buccaneers did on the flip side?
Oh, yeah. They force-fed Mike Evans so he can get his bonus.
So Mike Evans, if he got over 1,000 yards, or I forgot what it was.
That I know. I was watching that game. Yeah. They were talking about
He got $3 million fucking dollars. They were supposed to kneel on it, and Baker Mayfield fed him. They made a design play so he would get that money.
That's awesome. And that's what you do as a team, is the difference between one organization and another. You know what I mean? And the Cowboys this season, to put almost like a bow on the entire thing, it's like plagued with injuries, yes, but we were set up to, and just my opinion, on mine doesn't have to be yours, but I feel like the whole let's run it back thing after last year's debacle against Green Bay and the whole we're all in and all that garbage, that could have been the most detrimental 3 words, we're all in or I'm all in or whatever, that he's ever said, because nothing was done about it. It was like we drafted, we kept the same team, and we lost players. We didn't add anybody. I think the only addition was
Kendricks.
I was just gonna say the only addition I was gonna say was Eric Kendricks, and he played a very good season. I think he actually got to 100 tackles, if I'm not mistaken, if not close. But like I feel like the season was not. I don't want to say plagued, because I believed in certain people's abilities, but then you get the injuries, and from Jump Street, Bret said that the offense didn't look right in the beginning of the year, and we were just like, just give it a couple minutes, like. But it never got good. And even when Cooper Rush came in there, like, oh, it's a different style of offense, it still wasn't good, right? So I feel like this whole season was kind of plagued, and then like the injuries just continued to pile on, and we just didn't have an answer for anything. Notice how and here's the difference, Keith, and I'll let you go. When the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson against us for the year, the following week they made a trade to get Zadarius Smith, because they're like, nah, man, we need that position. He's got to be there. He's got to be on our team. Like, that is the difference between a proactive GM who says that we're in this shit to a GM that's like, well, the salary cap dictates. And it's like, no, man, no, you're wrong, and you're lying to everybody. So I don't know how you feel about a whole season as like if you like kind of encompass the whole thing. But for me, I just feel like there was never really any hope from Jump Street, even if we won a couple games. Right.
I don't know. I mean, you touched on 15 different things.
I know.
So
I was on a
know
ramp.
what
Sorry. Sorry. It's been a while. It's been a week.
I was about to say something before, and I forgot what it was.
Fuck. I'm sorry. But I just feel like, again, incompetency and just stupid shit. Just stupid shit like that. And now, today, as we record, obviously the season's over. There's a lot of looming things. We could probably touch on Patrick Walker's article where he breaks down all the restricted free agents to be. We'll kind of go over who we want to maybe keep. But first and foremost, today, the Cowboys finally broke their silence after being fucking silent for a day. The Bears were like, hey, can we interview McCarthy? And Jerry was like, don't anybody answer the phone. It's like, wait, well, just say yes or no. It's not that hard. Right? Exactly. He's got the stranglehold on him. And none of this is work. And so they deny the Bears. So now for me, that just spells welcome back Mike McCarthy. And I said it on Twitter right before that if they did this to Mike McCarthy and said, hey, can't interview with the Bears, man, we're bringing you back, buddy. Like, okay. But if they're like, hey, you can't interview with the Bears, man, and then they don't bring him back and the Bears hire somebody else and they took him out of that opportunity, that could be the all-time low for the Joneses. I don't know.
They wouldn't do that. Now, this is what I'm confused with. When does his contract end?
January 14th, 7 days from now.
So they could when it ends, he could just go and interview with him if he wants. He doesn't have to. He doesn't need Jerry's fucking permission.
Well, no, correct. But what happens is when you're under contract, that's when they have to ask, right? So it's like,
no, I get it.
Why would they deny it if they weren't going to try to extend? Are they denying it just because they're like, wait, give us 7 more days to figure this out? Like, why do the Cowboys always have to do things so difficult?
They're working on a contract with him.
Yeah, and they should. And I say we ride him out. Him and Dak go into the sunset together and just double down on what we have. It's just where are we? We have we were talking before you got on, where we have some great players. We just don't have a good team. And how do you remedy that? And again, we were plagued with injuries, but a lot of that has to do with our preseason. I mean, we have to figure out a whole new. If I were the head coach, I'm like, look, we're going to use preseason for what it is. These guys got to get reps. They got to get ready for the season. It can't be the 3rd, 4th game, and we're still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We have to get some whatchamacallit? We just free agents. We got to get some free agents. We did have some good highlights, man. Like I know your position that the Deuce thing is the experiment is over. I get that, but I think, and echoing my brother who's been more vocal about it, that's a mistake. That kid can ball. Between him and Turpin, you have two playmakers, two speed, and even the kid can block, man. I mean, they're not using him right. He'd be a great third back. Let's see if we can pick up somebody in free agency, because the running game, our O-line, by the way, played phenomenal against Washington, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was by design that Trey Lance would roll the pocket just because of his style of play a lot. And I know, Keith, I'm sure you caught up and watched the condensed version of the game. I watched
everything.
Yeah, so because I know you're watching or listening to Babe Laufenberg. So,
but I would say that in that what I saw. All right, so everyone, I listened to the game on the Cowboys radio with Babe Laufenberg and Brad Sham, and I watched NFL Red Zone. That's how I was watching the game. And then when it was over, I went in and watched the whole game, because if you have the NFL Plus package, you can go in and watch games after. So the difference, it's weird hearing them talk and then watching the game after. And when I watched the game after, actually, Trey Lance, he played a lot better than I thought he did, just from listening
just
to
based
them.
off listening and watching.
Yes, because they cut the red zone when he short armed that fucking touchdown pass to Rico Dowdle, and that's when I was like, oh man, he's awful. And I said that, because I wasn't watching him, but some of the passes he threw, and him being as mobile as he is, and everyone has to remember, he hasn't started a game in the regular season in how many seasons? 3 or 4?
3 years, yeah.
So I meant he did not play bad at all.
Well, listen,
Go ahead.
He had 73 yards on 2 plays, right? So it was back-to-back plays. So it was like, oh, okay,
so
go ahead, Trey. Go ball out, Trey.
I thought they played a really good game. And, we lost with 2-3 seconds left.
Yeah.
It sucks, but
it's poetic.
And all because of that sack I think it was Wilson, where he just brushed his fucking helmet, and they called, which was legit. It was real. But like I was saying to Bret, so what I'm talking about on the last touchdown drive for Washington, we had him pinned back on the 3 with like a 15-yard sack. And I believe it was Donovan Wilson that when he sacked him, he just brazed his fucking face mask. Didn't need to happen. And they called a personal foul, and that got the drive fucking going. So if that doesn't happen, we win that game.
How do you feel about, I know you listened to that drive, right? How do you feel about after you saw Hooker putting up the 4th down symbol and completely just forgetting about the play?
Bro, that was so bad.
He's a professional, bro.
I see a lot of defensive players do that. They do the 4th down thing when it's 3rd down a lot.
No, not even that. Just putting up a fist as if like the play was stopped and the guy just bolts right by him.
I noticed that, and I don't know, man. All I can say is they're rattling heads, bro. It's got to be the tire. They're not really. They're just in a killer fucking instinct.
Or it could mean
not paying attention, really.
This meant something to the coach. Who knows?
Well, no, but even if he put his hand up as if the play was dead to rights, and you know what? Yeah. If the quarterback held it, it was. It was dead to rights. Micah had him wrapped up and it was over. But the problem is, Marcus Mariota, the ageless one, ageless one, just ran right by him. It's a shitty way to lose.
Look, man, listen, we got to get those younger guys some reps, and we have some talent on this team. We just need, like I said, good coaching is we have our 5 Pro Bowlers. Well, 4 actually, not counting Aubrey Maddock, because that's just a solo thing. You got to get the players that are to play above their pay grade. So, you always have on a team, you have the talented ones, but then there are those guys that you got to get them to play to that next level. Let them play up instead of just playing at their level. And you're not, I didn't see that really all season. Our defense started coming alive a little, and then Philly came and just, that was just atrocious.
Yeah.
Well, we kept going. We kept turning the fucking ball over and 3 and outs and shit.
Yeah, so, when you have the backup quarterback in there, regardless of skill set.
I would say this, though. If I put in order what was wrong this season, and doing it in order, the reason why we did not make the playoffs Number one for me is our defense. I still say our defense put us in a hole. And I agree with Bret that they played awesome the last half of the season, but the damage was already done. We were already 3-6 by the time they really started, picking it up. So I go defense first. Second, I go coaching. And I'll say this again, not only the coaching, but the players. We are one of the dumbest fucking teams in the NFL. We really are. And I can't even just from us going for a block punt. Yes, we went for a block when we could have just lined up against the Bengals. I mean, so many different plays from against Atlanta when Trayvon Diggs came out for a second and then they force him back in and he doesn't know what's going on as Kirk Cousins threw his last touchdown pass of the season.
It's great. It's great as you say these things. This sounds like
so many plays.
It sounds like it actually sounds like a bad infomercial for like one of those top song CDs. It's like here's the Cowboys top hits of the year. Let's start off with the age-old classic. Let's run a fake punt on 4th and 10 on our own 20.
Oh, that's another one.
Another
What
one.
about the fucking fake punts?
Another one.
Anyway,
There's
that's what I was going to bring.
There's like
fucking
3.
Coaching, stupid players. Then I go to Dak. Dak is the third in that whole, because I don't think he played that bad in the beginning of the season. And I still stand by that. When he started going down was Detroit.
Yeah. Listen,
the Detroit game and then the Atlanta game he was awful in. And, he didn't play that great either in the beginning, the first few games, but
listen,
he wasn't as bad as he was.
Nothing on the off.
Pittsburgh was his best game.
And what's funny, bro, he threw 2 picks.
Right. I said the same thing. Yeah.
That's fine.
And look, and again, if you're going to be a gunslinger type mentality like a Brett Favre or something like that, and you're going to make some throws that are just ill-advised and try to force it into a tight window, we get that. But that's not his game, I don't think. I don't think he's not Romo. Romo was that kind of guy. Romo would try to lace it in there no matter what the window was, and sometimes it was a pick, sometimes it was the greatest throw you ever saw, right? And it's 50-50 ball. But for Dak, I feel like, again, I agree with you, Keith, as far as the defense, because it takes a lot to get the shit kicked out of us the way we did in the beginning of the season.
God, was that bad?
That was 2020 bad. It was Mike. Yeah. It was my savior, Mike Nolan, director of Batman. Bad, right? It was very Nolan-esque, and we were just getting the shit kicked out of us. And it's a very hard road. Even I don't care who you are. You could be Patrick Mahomes if you're down.
I agree, and that's where we were in the beginning of the season, and that's why it was hard to really put your finger on the offense for me, because the defense was playing so fucking bad. Like even when we would bounce back, I still remember against the Saints. What was it? It was 14-3. Dak hit CD on a fucking bomb. Boom! It was 14-10. Let's go. Next play, they score in fucking 2 plays. The Saints.
Yeah.
By the way, who never saw offensive production again.
Right. You're not wrong.
Like that. You're not like that game against us.
I know. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's like the Bears. The Bears were like on a hot streak until that guy was like celebrating that Hail Mary before it happened, and then they never won another game. It's like
exactly.
You get scarred for life. Go ahead, Brett.
We got beat up by the Saints. That Ravens game the next week took the fucking wind out of us, but we didn't come on later until the 4th quarter because we couldn't move the chains, and we couldn't move the chains against the Saints. Even the Browns, we were settling for field goals when we should have been popping in the end zone. We beat up the Giants, which we only put up 20 points against.
I was going to say, we didn't really beat them up like we usually beat them up.
And then we beat the Steelers 20-17, and then the fucking wheels went off. 47-9, we lost to the Lions, and then the Niners came and just the score was closer than the game. The score was closer than the game was. Then that Falcons game,
that's
crazy.
that's the one that's going to eat away at Keith for the rest of time, because he just thinks that, like for Michael Penix to do his thing the way he's been doing it, and it's just so funny every time.
But then the Eagles and Texans back to back put up 34 points on us.
No,
we only scored 6 points and 10 points.
No, but my point was with Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Bryce Young tearing up the fucking Falcons secondary, scoring at will when Dak was starting and throwing 3-yard outs the whole fucking
I was
time.
I was reading those texts out loud with my father and my brother there. Like, blah, 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 blah. I'm Dak Prescott. Listen, man. Dak.
All right, so I want to say something though, because really quick,
Mhm.
and I think you guys would be in agreement with me. How do we fix this? Let's be honest. Jerry's our fucking guy right now. We can't do anything about it. Dak is our quarterback. Can't do anything about it. How do we fix this? How do we compete and get to the postseason next year and have a chance? To me, what I've been saying, and I've been saying it pretty much since we've had Dak almost, we have not only build up the defense has to carry us, but they got to be harder in practice and OTAs and all those kind of things, and they have to play in preseason. Because I'm telling you right now, my greatest call this year. All right, I'm gonna go with what my best call, my worst call. I'll go my worst first. My worst was me thinking Zeke was gonna have a good year. That's my worst.
He's about
call.
to have a hell of a postseason. I tell you that right now.
But in his defense, you can't give a running back the ball 2 or 3 fucking times and expect.
Yeah, there's no rhythm. There's no rhythm there. Yeah.
Right. But regardless, I was completely wrong. Now, what I was so goddamn right about was Gavone Clark. Gavone, I've been on this guy's ass since last year saying how horrible he is. I'm at that position, I want to say. He might be a good safety or whatever, but playing that linebacker position he's been playing, he has not been playing well. He didn't play last season and he didn't play well this season. He waits. He doesn't shoot gaps. And finally, because we didn't play preseason, Zimmer saw it firsthand because they don't go hard in practice either. And I'm sure if he is going hard, he's just in shoulder pads and shorts and he's shooting gaps because he really doesn't have to hit anyone.
Right.
When Zimmer finally saw what I've been seeing with this guy, he did not see the field again all season.
I laughed so hard. I treated myself to a PlayStation 5 and I bought Madden. And I played the Giants in an exhibition game just to see the gameplay and see how it goes. And like there's intros for the Cowboys and they were coming out and the first jersey I saw was Clark. First one. And I was like, oh, Keith would fucking hate this game.
If Zimmer's back, he's gone. He won't be here next
year. I agree. I agree.
So this is what I ask you, both of you. Go first, Bret second.
Don't die first.
Who do you want to see the best player the best player in college football at 12? What position do you want?
What do I want or what's going to happen?
What do you want?
What do I want? I want a competent number 2 wide receiver.
Okay. Which I saw a couple of mock drafts and they have us with that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I want.
What about you, bro?
I was gonna say a second receiver, but since he took that one, I want to see a linebacker.
Well, so you go second receiver first.
Yeah, I would go a good second if we can't pick one up in free agency. So
I see that this is going back to what I was saying.
I would say linebacker.
We still have Dak as quarterback. I don't care. So you can have all the second receivers you want.
Mm-hmm.
I go defense, front 7. I'm not talking about secondary. I'm talking about front 7, either linebacker or edge rusher. That's what I'm going with. Or interior D-line. A beast. Somebody that can, if the best at the position now. And there is a chance because every single mock draft I look at, the linebacker, the number 1 linebacker I see is from Georgia. And everybody has him getting picked 14th, 15th, 16th. So I don't know how far, if that guy drops to us at 12. So I can't remember his name, but I watched his highlights. I wasn't that impressed though.
All right. Well then, all right. So, all right. That I can throw that back to you.
Yes.
Being that you want a linebacker and you weren't that impressed with the best linebacker in college football, you got to have, see, for me, like when you're at the top of the draft, like the Cowboys are, and I say top because it's top quarter-ish, right? Like you're up there. It's not like the quarterbacks are going to go to the teams that need the quarterbacks, right? And like the offensive linemen gems are going to go to those guys. But like for me at 12, just like the last time we picked at 12, we picked Micah Parsons. So, like, he was the best player on the board at that point. So that's what I would do. Whoever the best player is, I want a receiver, but whoever the best player is available. So if like we come
unless it's a quarterback,
obviously unless it's unless it's a quarterback. But what I'm saying is, if all of a sudden there's a guard that's like all world, pushes motherfuckers around in college, like he's just a beat, take the guard. I don't need the sexy pick, right? There's, I understand that we have a couple less picks this year. To me, I would almost trade back a little bit and recoup that 4th round pick that we lost for Mingo, just so we have a pick in every round instead of like sitting on our hands in the 4th round and saying like, oh, we don't have a pick because we needed Jonathan fucking Mingo on our team. So it's like,
dude, I'm gonna fucking die laughing because I saw a couple mock drafts. If the Giants draft the quarterback Milroe, whatever his name is, from Alabama,
you got that? Where did you see that?
I saw that I saw it on 2 separate mock drafts. I've been looking them up
because not for nothing, but Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are not getting 1st round grades from a couple of these experts.
Cam Ward's going. I love Cam Ward, dude. I'll say right now, Sanders, I'm not too sure of.
I think the Giants take Cam Ward.
Well, the Giants
might not be able to, bro.
Well, also the Giants might also be forced into that too.
If he goes, if he goes.
Because you Titans are picking first, they're going to get a quarterback.
You would think, right? If they're done with Will Levis, I don't know.
Yeah, they're done with Will Levis. And who's second, Sturch? I forget.
The Cleveland Browns.
Browns?
Well, I just looked it up. USA Today has Titans taking Cam Ward. You're right. Milwaukee Journal has Shedeur Sanders. Everybody else has Cam Ward for Tennessee.
Number 1 overall?
Cam Ward's going first, yeah. Sturch, I don't think you've been watching those Miami offenses.
I have not. I'll be honest. I have not.
Okay.
But
dude, the guys,
listen, I've seen
legit.
I have not.
I wish I would take the chance. If I could get him, I would take him right now. That's how I feel. That's how strongly I feel about him.
Yeah. I mean, to me now, I feel like the Giants might get the Heisman. They might get Travis Hunter, because if the first 2 picks are back-to-back quarterbacks, then they're gonna step in shit, and that's good for them. But they also lose out on the quarterback, and they have to go address it. Maybe get a stopgap guy like maybe Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins. But now they're saying they're ready for this. The Vikings might shop JJ McCarthy if they bring back Sam Darnold on a bigger deal because of what he's done this year. They're saying that JJ McCarthy would automatically be the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, meaning the people that want to shop for a quarterback might have to pony up big time to go get J.J. McCarthy. Now, that's the thing. I know we went off on a tangent on the draft because, Cowboys are there and they're high, and they're on the 12th spot. But I think that, if the Vikings are smart and they like Sam Darnold, it all depends on what happens in the playoffs. I mean, like Sam Darnold didn't show up against Detroit last week. He looked kind of like rattled and shook, right? And then Detroit kind of ran away with that game. So if he goes out there and loses to LA, then they're like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Like, it was fun, 14 wins, great. But like, again, what's that get you? Same thing with the Cowboys finishing with 12 wins 3 years in a row. We're like, oh, this is great. And then you get to the playoffs and then the shit just falls apart. But for the Cowboys, let me just kind of go over exactly what we're looking at here as far as the 2025 team. Right now, the current cap space that they have is $17 million. Okay, right now. The projected 2025 salary cap, according to Patrick Walker of DallasCowboys.com, is $275 million. Bret, to your point, it goes up 7.67%. So the cap rises, right? There's more money. Let's go. His first thing that he says is, you can't wait on the whole Micah thing. If you know Micah's going to be your guy for life, you can't just sit back and wait like they did with CD and Dak, because that will alter what you can spend in free agency. If you just get it out the way and pay him the money that you know is going to make some fucking astronomical money, we know this, you got to do it quick, and then so you can set up the rest of your budget. Practice squad guys that are going to be leaving: Dalvin Cook, Malik Davis, Kelvin Harmon, wide receiver, and Jalen Cropper, also gone. So, it's up to them to go get them. Exclusive rights free agents, meaning these are the guys that are just pretty much, they're not going anywhere. They just can't. Brock Hoffman, Tyrus Wheat, Wanye Thomas. Those guys aren't going anywhere. They'll be Cowboys next year. Then you get into the restricted free agents. This is where it gets a little tricky. because the restricted free agents, all they have to do is if they get an offer from another team, the Cowboys will have a chance to match it or get better, give them a better offer. That's Kevontae Turpin, and that's Marquise Bell. I leave it up to you guys. Keith, you keeping Turpin no matter what? Are you matching anything? Because he might get some kind of stupid offer from some other team because he's that good on special teams. Do you I don't want to say empty the clip because there's plenty of money to go around, but is Turpin somebody that is a priority as a playmaker on this team for the 2025 Cowboys?
I mean, it does depend, right, Brett? I would say that.
If we could keep him, I personally would take him over Bell. And because again, those guys are a rarity. And he can play. He's made some plays on offense too, man. I mean, he's one of those guys.
I agree.
And if we can't keep him, we got to keep Deuce.
Well, Deuce is under contract, so he'll be there if he wants to be there.
Little Deuce.
So here's where it gets crazy now. Unrestricted free agents, meaning when the calendar season ends, they're out the door, and it's up to us to go pursue them and try to grab them before they leave. Like, oh, wait, hold on. Like just that last grasp. The specialists, you don't have to really worry about those guys because they're like 1-year deals each and every time. CJ Goodwin, Brian Anger, and our good friend, Trent Siege, the long snapper, who is just as good as McQuaid, if not better. So those three guys.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
I knew that was coming. Those guys you don't have to really worry about. But herein lies the problem. Quarterback 1 is Dak Prescott, whether either of you guys like it or not. And quarterbacks Trey Lance and Cooper Rush, both are done. Now, for me, I think you bring back Cooper Rush because he knows the system. If it's still McCarthy, he's won games. Yes, he's made plenty of mistakes. Yes, he moves in slow motion when there's a fumble. Right? We know the bad of Cooper Rush, but we also have seen some darts and we've seen some decent football. We've seen him win games. So I say they bring back Cooper Rush, but that just makes me fucking nuts that you would give up the capital for Trey Lance to start one game for your fucking organization.
What do we give up? Third was it third round?
Pretty
Fourth
much,
round?
I'm
Fifth
sure
round?
it's a third round, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely ridiculous and
If I have
criminal.
to choose between those two, I would take Cooper Rush right now.
I think so too. I'm on board with that. I just think that, like I said, Trey Lance, what he did Sunday was admirable. He played okay. He didn't play piss poor. He didn't throw any pick sixes. He didn't fumble the ball, right? It just there's a couple balls that just, sailed a little bit where I'm just like, God damn, bro. If he would have just set his feet, it would have been fine. But like he's still raw.
Well, you want an answer. The answer to me, we absolutely keep Cooper. We have to. He's a quality backup. And if I was Jerry, I'd give him an envelope anyways. Because if he said he didn't know, you know what I mean? They should give him that bonus anyways. It's very rare to get that type of a backup where you're not. And again, we have to ride with Dak, right? So there's no controversy.
No.
And we know he can step in if Dak gets hurt. He's proven himself. That's a rarity to find.
I agree.
Unless you're going for, like he said, if Cam Ward was available and we got to draft a quarterback, now that's the only other move, which I don't think that's going to happen.
Listen. All right, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's harder to find.
I think.
And get rid of Trey Lance.
Yeah, well, again, it just feels criminal to just let him walk out the door without doing anything with the kid and trying not to trade him at the deadline or whatever, trying to get value back for this guy. But now he's just going to go latch on with either the CFL or the UFL or another NFL team. I don't know. But
Bet he ends up in Denver.
I could see that. I can absolutely see that with
Payton,
the quarterback,
next.
the quarterback whisperer known as Sean Payton. I do want to make not a bold prediction, but I think within the draft, the Cowboys will draft a quarterback. I think they have to, or it's malpractice. Dak is over 30. Cooper Rush is getting older too. Like they need a young kid in there that actually has I don't want to say remember, Dak was taken in the 4th. So it's like you can find some gems out there. Again, I don't believe in Brock Purdy as much as you guys do, but Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant.
I was gonna say if it's a later round, yeah.
Yeah. No,
But,
I'm not talking about wasting draft capital on a quarterback early. No.
Keith is 100% accurate right now. We got to load up on defense. And,
Well, I haven't gotten to the
defense. All right,
defense
go
yet.
ahead. Go through your thing. I'm sorry.
Wide receivers, the only one that is an unrestricted free agent that could be walking out the door is Brandon Cooks. Keith, do you bring him back?
I thought he played okay. When he came back from injury. Depending, once again, how much money?
Right. It really, dollars make sense. Bret?
Yeah.
If we keep him, we keep him. And here's why. He would absolutely 200% be an outstanding third receiver.
I agree.
We need to find that number 2. He's not our number 2.
And we all hoped, even Jesse Holley said, it's now or never for a guy like Jalen Tolbert. And I don't think he answered the call. Jalen Tolbert, good kid. Great work ethic, all that good shit, all that fun, whatever.
But
not a wide receiver, too.
You gotta understand something, too, though, Sturchie, is that when your number 1 goes down, okay, because now there's 2 different things here. It's like really bad improv. I don't know if you've ever watched improv troupes. Their great improv is based on the familiarity with the person throwing the ball. Everybody has a different speed, different style, but yeah, I don't think he's a solid number 2. I liked how Florine played. That kid played pretty good, man.
Again, he came on at the end of the year when teams were kind of just like lollygagging.
Well, you got to remember too, we're not just gonna get rid of. We can't get rid of everybody and replace everybody.
No. They're all there. They're all going to be there, and I'm sure there's going to be.
We're about I would say, Keith, you agree or disagree, or give me the number. I'd say we're about 80% there as a team. And we're just got to learn to play as a team. But I meant as far as personnel goes. I think we need another solid linebacker.
When you say 80% there, are you talking about 80% Super Bowl contender or just like as a cohesive, formidable team?
Just as a cohesive unit. Just as a cohesive unit. I'm not talking about how far you're going to go. It's how you can play. I think we need something in the interior D-line. We maybe need another linebacker. I mean, I don't know when Overshown gets back and if he can stay healthy, because that to me is just a tragedy. That kid is phenomenal. But Leafu, whatever his name, played phenomenal. You can see the potential in that kid. He flies. Secondary, again, we lost Diggs. Bland, we lost. They never really got to play together. We have a solid secondary. I think the front 7 really needs to bulk up a little.
Before we get to that defensive line, I saw with the offensive line, Chuma Edoga, offensive line, and of course the biggest question mark is Zach Martin. Contract's up. I don't know how you bring him back.
I think he's retiring.
I was gonna say if I had a hope for an end of Zach Martin, I would say retire and not pull a Tyron Smith and just walk out the door and find another team for a year. That would upset me. I think he's a lifer. I think Martin retires rather than sign somewhere else. That's just me, though. Defensive line. Okay, so here's where it gets fun. Here are the following 6 defensive linemen that are unrestricted free agents that are walking out the door when the season ends. DeMarcus Lawrence, Carl Lawson, Osa Odigizua, Chauncey Golston, Linval Joseph, and Carlos Watkins. I could probably do without Watkins and Joseph. I know they were, guys that we signed late, and just kind of brought on as bodies. But I think Osa has played himself out of Dallas, meaning I think that Washington or somebody like that will cape up and go grab themselves a good defensive tackle. And that's one of our guys, and that sucks.
I don't think so. I think that Osa, he may have, you could say that all you want, but who did he flourish under? Under Zimmer, and I think he'll be able to, take I'm not saying he's going to take any kind of cut, but I think he'll get paid. But maybe he can look at longevity. He might make more money if he stays with us. He already knows the defense. Zimmer got the best out of him. He knows Micah Parsons is going to be behind him. I mean, he knows what he can do with his personnel around him. So this might not all be about look, obviously if someone offers him Albert Hainsworth money, he's going to fucking leave. but I don't see that happening.
Albert
I
Haynesworth.
see maybe it could be a $500,000 difference, somebody or something like that, and I think maybe he'll just stay. I think he'll stay with us.
Now, bigger question, I'll throw this to Bret and then to Keith after that. DeMarcus Lawrence hasn't seen the field since the Giant game in New York, right? And I think, again, DeMarcus Lawrence is not the guy that's going to show up on your stat sheet with all the sacks and all that shit. It's what he does against the run. It's what he does as far as pressures. DeMarcus Lawrence, to me, is a Cowboy for life, and I think it would be really shitty not to bring back D-Law to the Dallas Cowboys team to finish what he's trying to finish here in Dallas, because you don't want to see him go out on an injury, especially with the Cowboys. But obviously, he can latch on anywhere, but he's still good to be on that D line. And if you bolster it up in the draft, and maybe you add in free agent.
A question or a statement? I'm still waiting for your question.
Well, I'm just telling you how I feel about D-Law before I throw it to you.
No, you're
motherfucker.
supposed to, and then you go off on these tangents.
You know what, man? It's right anyway. Yeah.
What's the question? Do we try and keep him? Is that what you're saying?
Is D-Law a Cowboy in 2025?
Do I think he is? Yes.
Okay.
As far as productivity goes, I mean, come on, man. The guy is just not seeing the field though.
He's been hurt.
That's my point. He's injured.
Well, also, man, he was there for the Saints and the Ravens beatdowns.
Yeah, I know, but they all were. They all were.
And he was there for the Green Bay beatdown, and he was there for the Rams beatdown with in the playoffs when we lost to them. When he came out and said, "Oh, we were tired," or whatever he said, and I'm not putting. I like D-Law. I like him a lot, and he does. I think he's a team leader. But maybe it's time to.
Well,
maybe he does a DeMarcus Ware and goes somewhere.
What was his last? What was his last real productive season though?
He played great last year.
But I'm saying, that's what I'm asking. So
yeah, he had a productive 2020. He had a productive 2023, and then again, the whole defense imploded against Green Bay. But he was stopping the run. He was half the reason why we got complacent against the run was D-Law, and that's why I feel like he should be brought back. Now, look, the money has to make sense.
I was gonna say, how many do we get to keep? Let's give us a number and say who do we want? Because I think Golston has been playing pretty good, man. He's been stepping up.
He's younger.
Osa, again, we don't have that much. We don't have really good interiors, man. And I would say definitely keep Golston instead of Osa and D-Law, who we would let go.
I would say Osa and Golston we keep.
Yeah, I was gonna. I look.
I'm with Olsen. I'm with Osa, and I want D-Law back. I don't know. I just feel like we had this conversation a couple years back, Keith, where I think it was who did they get? The not Martellus Bennett, but the other one. You know what I'm talking about.
Taco?
No, not fucking Taco. No. No.
Talking about the guy from the Vikings?
No.
Griffin,
well, no, Everson Griffin. No. Even though I was definitely a little sturching about that move too. No, I'm talking about Martellus Bennett's brother. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, yeah. When he came in the locker room.
When he came in the locker room, all of a sudden, he's the guy. He's the vocal leader. So if anything, if nothing else, D-Law is that guy.
Well,
so,
D-Law was there at the time when he did that.
I understand. Well, that whole team was in disarray
at that point.
Saying, I understand that.
He let him come in and and take over.
All right. You know what? I'll just go fuck.
Just saying.
Anyway, linebackers.
Man, it's a legit question.
I know.
And I don't know how productive D-Law. He wasn't really, to me, that he didn't play that well this year. Even like he said when he was healthy, man.
Well, to Keith's point,
I did go off and say that he didn't play well, but I just know the defense as a unit played like
right.
shit.
So it's like hard to.
He was part of that defense, and Micah was part of that defense.
Right. So it's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say any of those defensive players played well, considering how bad they were as a unit.
But and it could have been what we've been talking about, bro, is them just not having the action in preseason and not being warmed up like they should have been.
Yeah.
Look, if D-Law can stay healthy, I think we're going to be able to keep all three. To be honest with you.
We'll see. Because remember,
We need to.
remember,
we need to.
Micah
We
Parsons.
need these-
Micah Parsons
we-
is about to eat, and that's going to hamper us a little bit. So
You already
Don't
said
forget, we got Sam back too.
what?
Sam Williams, right?
Sam Williams is coming back. You're right.
Yeah, we get him back. So who's a beast? So
And Nealand, who we just drafted, was coming on a little bit. So
Nealand's great.
we do have depth. It's not a depth thing. For me, it's a leadership thing, and I think that's why you bring back D-Law. That's just where I'll leave it.
Okay.
Linebackers, Darius Harris didn't really do much. If not,
Well, he didn't get a chance.
right.
They
I
never
was just
put
going to
him in.
say because he just didn't get a shot.
Yeah.
Eric Kendricks is a 1-year deal, so Kendricks could be walking out the door, and so is
We need to keep him, bro.
and
We need
so
to keep
is
I think he's gonna retire, man.
so is the savior of the non-punt block called Nick Vigil. He's also a free agent. And I like him. I like him a lot, actually. So I don't know what you do with him. Like, I don't think anybody's going to be like banging on his door and be like, hey, man, can't wait till your fucking
Well, they
contract's up.
intercepted Luke Gifford from us.
That's true.
Titans.
That's true. Yeah, Gifford was our
Not
guy.
only was he starting, he was leading the defense, the huddle.
Yeah,
I was
you're right.
watching. He was playing good.
You know what it is though is we can keep these guys. I mean, they're not going to be a big hit. That's the question too. Do we do quantity over quality? Like
We always want.
say-
How many times have we talked about depth, right? Like, you need
Yeah.
that shit, right? And like in a game, in a sport like this now, defensive linemen and linebackers are a premium, and you got to make sure that you have enough, because look what happened when Kendricks missed a game or two this year. The whole fucking, we just looked like another fucking defense all of a sudden. We're like, oh, that,
So I would say that the good thing is if Zimmer stays, we're trying to say who's good, who's not. He fucking knows. He had one season with this team already. He knows, and hopefully Jerry listens to him. If he says,
Well-
"I want Vigil,
well-
I don't want Gavone Clark. I want this guy. I want this guy. This guy can stay. We got to get better at free agents and
Now,
drafts." And hopefully he runs point on that.
this all depends on Zimmer coming back. So we really don't know if he's
Yeah.
going to be brought back. So,
Yeah.
sometimes when these head coaches get brought back and they realize they need a fall guy, we've seen it. We've literally seen it with Kellen Moore. We saw it with, we've seen these things. And I don't know if they again, I'm not sure about the fan base. Well, I actually am sure about the fan base. If you just say, hey, Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer coming back, they're going to be in a little bit of an uproar. Not me. I'm cool with it. But like,
I'm fine with it.
I know you're fine with it. We're all kind of realists here, but people are just, they want change. They want culture change. They want all this shit. But like, people forget like how good this fucking Cowboys team was 3 years in a row and how we just stepped on our own fucking feet in the playoffs. Right. And that goes back to so many things.
Record wise, we were good. Yeah.
Yeah, record wise. But again, when Kellen Moore was calling the offense, we're scoring points in bunches, right? And then last year, the Texas Coast thing gets introduced, and Dak plays his fucking balls off, and he's a couple votes away from being MVP. So, like, we definitely have the guy. It's just like, I feel like, and this goes to your point, Keith, I feel like this is just the dumbest fucking team I've ever seen, because it's like,
Yeah.
how can you make so many bad decisions when it comes to play calling when a year ago you were kicking the shit out of teams? Makes no sense to me.
But listen, too, though. I mean, we are always looking at it with cowboy glasses on. But
Fair.
I mean, look what happened to the Niners, even the Dolphins, man. Which we mirror them. We're almost the exact same team when you think about it, from our quarterback to like even our
Well,
secondary.
they have like 17 running backs. We have like none. So, but
But I'm saying
I know
is
what you're
that like
talking
there are similarities between. I mean, statistically, they have a much better defense than us, but this has been going around. This year's been a weird year, man. It really.
I would
has.
say though, I would say that I think as far as the Dolphins go, I think Tua is a better quarterback than Dak.
if he
my
can
opinion.
stay out.
yeah, you think so?
If he can stay healthy, that is.
You said so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look what happened when he wasn't there. They didn't even, I don't think they fucking won a game, did they?
Well, they didn't have a competent backup at all, right? It
Well,
was
I'm
like
just saying,
it was
I'm
like
like, well,
Snoop
who
something
knows
and fucking Mike White and shit.
Maybe it's Mike Wyatt.
Mike
White.
White.
Mike Wyatt.
White. So
I fucking love Mike White, by the way.
I got to round out this list. There's 4 cornerbacks that are about to walk out the door
Oh,
too.
Jesus.
Andrew Booth, you can absolutely fly yourself out. I'm so beyond
Oh.
beyond okay with him being. Thank you for your service. Jordan Lewis is the biggest one that I think that this is going to be one of those things where he's played himself into a bag of money this year alone. And I really hope the Cowboys cape
they're
up
going to
here.
keep Jordan Lewis.
I really hope they do, because Jordan Lewis, man, he is some of the lifeblood of this defense, specifically the
One
secondary.
person, Babe Laufenberg and Brad Sham were gushing about. Like they're like, he better not go anywhere. They better pay up for him.
I'm gushing, by the way.
I'm gushing too. So Andrew Booth, how many times do you think he's been to a restaurant and he's given his last name, and then the host has to ask him, "Would you like a Booth?"
Yeah,
think about that.
I got to assume that that's a major problem in his life. Yeah,
guaranteed. Every fucking host makes that joke, and he's tired of it. Guaranteed.
Hi, Booth, your table's ready. It's like, oh man, missed opportunity.
Booth, your booth is ready.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Izzy is up. Mukamanu. Izzy is up. So you got to figure out what you're going to do with him. And our good dear friend.
Is he though? Is he?
Wow, we're just gonna do some.
I don't know. I find it players with names. I find it that players with last names you can't pronounce are fucking good.
Well, good, because the next one is the next one's Amani Ararari. So he's out.
That guy should be a Pro Bowler.
Oh man, so that rounds out the list of Cowboys.
How about this? How about we just cut everyone and then keep Aubrey?
There you go. I mean, what the fuck? Just kick from the fucking 50 every time.
I would love to know, Sturch, I think you sent it before. But what linebackers are free agents?
Oh, I said it before, but it's Darius Harris, Eric Kendricks, Nick Vigil.
No, not ours.
Oh, you mean like in the NFL?
We can fucking sign. Like, what guys are coming up on it? Like, is there Patrick Queen? Is there
Well, let me just head on over to the old overthecap.com, and that's usually my go-to here, where it shows everybody. So linebacker.
Hey, bro, would you trade
even the way Bobby Wagner was playing this year? He's been playing great.
It's fucking terrible, isn't it?
Who?
I'm saying, isn't it terrible how great he plays and he never wants to play with Dallas? Like, he just doesn't like us.
I was saying he played great. He's playing great this year.
Here you go. Here you go, Keith. Real quick. I can just
you could get a linebacker if you like. There's certain positions you could get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers a little difficult because again, there's a relationship that they have to develop. There's timing that they have to develop.
Mm-hmm.
A middle linebacker is a turnkey position, bro. It really is. I mean, once they understand, especially if they played with the coordinator before, they could come in. And again, I think running back and linebackers are good. If we can get some in free agency, that'll solve some problems.
Let me roll off a couple here. See if anybody piques your interest.
And edge rushers.
The top one played 96% of the snaps for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Levante David. Now, he's also 35 years old, so
I don't care.
Whatever.
Look at Ray Lewis, bro. He played to his what?
But Ray Lewis was one of the greatest linebackers of all time.
I agree.
Levante David's not.
I agree.
The greatest.
I would say so. Yeah, I mean.
Oh no, I would say Keith's mom was a little better. We haven't had a mom joke, so
the quote has been not filled. Dre Greenlaw from the 49ers. He didn't play much. He's 28.
He was injured.
Yeah, correct. He's also a free
That's
agent.
the guy who got it. Dude, did you ever see him get injured? That was the saddest thing ever.
No.
So I think it was before the Super Bowl. Super Bowl or NFC, he's on the sideline. He's a start running back. He's getting ready to. I'm a linebacker, bro. You know how they're getting amped on the sideline? Defense is going out for the first series, and he's like, and he goes and runs and fucking pops his Achilles.
That's right. I do remember that. That's insane.
It was Achilles or whatever he fucking blew. But running out to the field for the first series.
We can. Oh, you know what? You know who we can get.
I'm pretty sure that was the guy.
It is the guy. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. For speaking of the 49ers, I think they're going to part ways with the guy who said he didn't want to play, Devondre Campbell. Campbell, this guy's hurt. You're in. Nah. What do you mean? No. Nah, I'm just done. I quit. So he left. But Bobby Wagner, free agent.
He ain't fucking coming near us.
I know.
He didn't come near us with fucking Quinn. He's not.
Here's an interesting one I kind of like. The Giants, Isaiah Simmons But he didn't play enough too this year. He got hurt a lot too. There's a lot of guys that get hurt. I mean, Shaq Thompson from the Panthers is okay. I mean, I guess it's kind of slim picking. So maybe you find one in the draft. Now, Bret mentioned running back before. This is interesting because there are some guys out there that I think, well, at least the top 5 names I'm about to give you, I would sign to the Cowboys. Actually, you know what? There's some even lower than that. So, number 1, Aaron Jones is a free agent, the Cowboy killer himself.
Fucking guy's a beast.
Najee Harris from the
Najee,
the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh guy, might be a Mike McCarthy get. AJ Dillon, a free agent. No, I'm done with him too. Oh, you know, this is intriguing here. Nick Chubb of the Browns. Now,
yes.
Yeah, so like he's coming off the injury. He was obviously never got right. But for the Browns to keep him, I feel like it's almost not likely. I don't know. But then there's also Javonte Williams from the Broncos. There's J.K. Dobbins from the Chargers. He's another injury waiting to happen, but you never know. And then there's our boy Rico Dowdle, also a free agent. I'm just, now that I'm down this hole, I could tell you right now with certainty that the Dallas Cowboys entertain talking to Stephon Diggs because of his brother, and he's a free agent, and he's coming off a fucking knee. So that's on brand with the Cowboys. I feel like that's definitely a thing. T. Higgins will probably be the most expensive receiver out there. I don't see that happening. But before we wrap this up, what do you guys think? I mean, I know Bret was questioning what it even meant, but the Tyreek Hill thing, I know there's legs to it because it's the media, and so as soon as the Dolphins lose, he's all like, "I'm out, bro. I'm done. I don't want to do it." And then he changed his profile. Anybody see this? He changed his profile picture to Antonio Brown shirtless running off the field, but he put his face on it. These receivers, I swear to Christ.
But here's the thing, though, Sturchie. I mean, again, on paper it sounds great, but
yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
These types of guys cause problems.
Yeah, of course.
So he's never happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the chick that every boyfriend, it's always them, right? Oh, this guy's a jerk. This guy. Well, then why? Maybe it's you.
Dude, you know what's funny? You know what's funny, bro? That chick you speak of, he got pregnant.
Exactly.
15 other.
Oh my God. Anyway, listen.
But I would love to have the team on the team at least for one season. That's my theory on it, by the way. You get these guys that are always like, it's always the team is the problem. Whenever they come to another team that first year, they're on great behavior because they want to prove that it wasn't them, and then they self-destruct. So if we can get him for one or two seasons, I'm okay with that.
Because he'll be as happy as a pig and shit next year. And look, Dak doesn't even have to do anything. You just throw a 2-yard drag route and he can take it the rest of the way.
I mean, between him, Turpin, CD, we'll have so much speed out there, man. But by the way, let me ask you this: I know Turpin's small, but as a second or third receiver, I mean, if we can't sign anybody, give him a shot.
No, he's not that guy.
He's good for special plays and stuff like that.
Right? He's not a Y receiver who can I mean, like XY. Like he's not the other guy that can start running good routes. I don't see it.
If you're running a West Coast type offense, he's perfect.
But we don't run.
If you're running those quick outs and quick slants and stuff, I mean, he'll get killed over the middle. But I'm saying, why not?
I don't know. But I just have to also point out, all I did was go to 100%. Like, there's only 2 free agents next year that have played 100% of the snaps for their respective teams. One of them is a familiar friend. Xavier Woods is a free agent after this year. Wouldn't mind seeing him back. But look at his name. Ready for this name? Guard, Giants, Greg Van Rotten. Like, that's just,
I love that guy.
He's a badass. Like, I don't even care how good he is. Like, he's Van Rotten.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Are you fucking kidding? He's a wrestler at this point.
I'll tell you right now, Brock Hoffman. We had some O linemen really step up.
We did.
Yo, would you if the 49ers, if you're Jerry Jones, would you offer Micah Parsons for for Fred Warner
Ooh,
and a first-round pick.
yes.
There you go. So would I.
I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I didn't have to breathe. I didn't have to take a breath. Fred Warner, to me, is Micah Parsons almost dialed up. Like, that motherfucker is juiced.
He reminds me more of Ray Lewis.
Yes.
Ray
Fred Warner, to
Fred
me,
Warner.
he is just. He's the
And
man.
he's not even a first rounder. Is he second, third, or
Of
something?
course he is. Of course these
That's
guys.
what I mean. Like, we could find somebody.
The only
man. We gotta
intriguing,
find it.
obviously, the playoffs have to play out, and free agency's first. But the only intriguing thing is right now, and I know this is going to be one of those things that are going to bite us, or at least have a little anxiety, is that the 49ers are picking 11 right before us. So it's like we're going to be sitting there waiting, and we're going to be like, yeah, this guy's falling, and then the Niners are going to sweep in, and we're going to hate their guts even more. Because look, a lot of mock drafts have the Cowboys taking Gianti, the running back. But what I will say is the 49ers, if McCaffrey keeps doing this, I got fucking 18 things wrong with my calves and my quads and whatever else, do not be surprised if they pull the trigger and go get themselves a running back. So
That's a good call.
we will.
I would
see.
take Nick Chubb, man. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I like the Nick Chubb idea. I think that's a great idea. But
Look,
we ate
all right,
Jerry.
guys, I got to roll.
Yeah, we ate Jerry. All right, listen.
Wait, I got a question before we go, Keith, really quick.
Keith is dying
My
of
poor
smoke
brother.
over there. Yeah, what's going on, man?
Who are you guys rooting for other than the Cowboys, and who you have money on? Who would you like to see win the Super Bowl?
I already picked it a bunch of times. Chargers, Vikings is what I want.
Keith?
I want Lamar. I would like to see the Ravens. Lamar Jackson.
Against?
I like Lamar. I would like to see. I know you're gonna Detroit
lose again.
You want
Huh?
you want the Eagles to get the Super Bowl and lose again?
Yeah,
That would be pretty. That would be nice.
I hope they get eliminated first round.
We
against
have the
Packers.
yeah. I was
It's
gonna
not
say
happen.
we have the potential to literally rewrite the same story as last year. Eagles are the 2 seed. We were the 2 seed. The Packers are the 7 seed. The Packers are the 7 seed. The Packers are going on the road. Packers came out and beat the shit out of us on the road. So now all of a sudden we could just would that just fucking warm my heart if they could just do the same thing.
I'm surprised none of you guys said Detroit.
I'm done with Detroit.
I just did.
Oh, you want Detroit? All right, because people. But you know what?
Detroit, Baltimore.
Okay.
That's a good
But
one.
no,
I
I
like
know.
that
But you
one
want
too.
Detroit to win the whole thing?
I would like to see either them or Baltimore win. If I'm happy with either one of those two.
I could say this. I don't want Detroit to win because their fans are becoming fucking dickheads. Whenever a team gets good, their fans become the biggest fucking pricks in the world. So
They earned it.
Fuck the Lions.
fucking earned
Yeah,
don't
look
care.
what happened to us in the 90s.
I love that they're one of the oldest franchises, and their biggest fucking win of all time is a fucking playoff game against us.
I'm
All
done.
they talk about.
And
And that Barry
I'm gonna-
Sanders run is the most overrated run in the history of football. The one
I
they
just-
always show with Tony Casillas like this.
I was gonna say I just feel bad for
Dude,
Tony
The
Casillas.
score was 31-6 at the time. But it was the end of the fourth quarter. Barry Sanders was bottled up the whole game. The defense already mailed it in, and here he comes. Look at me go. And fucking scores that touch. Fuck that.
Just like that.
All right.
Listen, the Jersey Boys.
the other thing I would like to say, and I know this is going to get pissed off Cowboy fans, I wouldn't be mad if Mike Tomlin gets one more.
Why? Cowboy fans. Oh, because of the Steelers?
No, the Steelers.
No, fuck all
That's
that.
another thing I don't
My
like
father
about
would.
Detroit.
My father would be like, "What the fuck is Bret talking about right now?" Like,
Well, because you know what? I'll tell you this. I was just in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh and Green Bay to me, like neck and neck as far as the best informed fans, history, and
No.
I mean, Pittsburgh's not going to go far, I don't think. But
knows,
if
bro?
Again,
Tomlin
bounce this
got
week.
one more, I wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't mind Tomlin as our coach, to tell you the truth.
Oh.
But I was going to say this. One more thing. Who did Emmitt Smith break the record against?
Seattle.
Seattle, yes.
Yeah.
Who do we play the next week?
Who do we
Jesus,
play
I don't
after
know, man.
after he broke the record?
Yeah.
Give me
No, it was
Arizona.
Detroit?
It was Detroit.
Ooh.
I was just talking about it. Guys, come on.
Oh,
So, did you know
they're not.
you could look it up? They booed the fuck out of Emmitt Smith after he broke the record.
So fuck Detroit. Fuck Eminem.
Yeah, I don't like
Fuck
them.
all-
I don't want them to win. I don't. I'm done with them.
I'm done with it too. Yeah, after that story, fuck it. They're done. It's over.
Yeah,
They're dead
fuck
to me.
it.
Dead.
Well, they're booing him because it's like, oh, really? What's he supposed to do?
No.
He's not supposed to fucking run the ball because your player quit
No.
because your organization's fucking a piece of shit.
No, it's gonna be Super Bowl Sunday. It's gonna be 4th and 32 from their own fucking 30, and Dan Campbell's like, "Fuck this, we're going, we're going. Let's go."
And they get it.
And he gets it because I'm on
One of
Ross.
my-
Ross St. Brown takes a slant route over the fucking middle. Anyway, that's enough.
One
of
of my
this shit.
favorite. I liked as a linebacker. I like Chris Spielman.
I love Spielman. I do love Spielman. I like me some Spielman. All right, look. Jersey Boys will be on, I don't want to say hiatus because any breaking news or anything like that, we'll definitely try to jump on and talk some shit as the offseason approaches, and then we get
Season's over.
prepared.
It's over, Start.
I'm still waiting for Dad to come home, and I'm not sure if he is.
I knew it. We got the letter. We got the letter already saying, "Hey kids, I left the family."
There's ice cream in
waiting.
there's ice cream in the freezer. I love you guys. Goodbye.
Yeah, it was Christmas was awful. There was there was no gifts under the tree.
And then there was
We went out to eat.
What
Nobody
a-
cooked home.
I
It was
come
sad.
down Christmas morning, and what do I see? Uncle Alfresco dead, shot through the back of the head. No red bicycle. Anyway, name that movie. Anyone? Or am I the only fucking idiot?
Is it Wise Guys?
No, it's My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin.
That's right, with Steve Martin.
Great movie.
I was thinking of Danny DeVito one
Oh, okay. Which
with Piscopo. No, it was My Blue Heaven. Yeah.
Piscopo's a pisser. All right, Jersey Boys, we'll be back soon. For Dave Sturchio, Bret Ernst, Keith Ernst, thank you guys for rocking with us all season long on this abysmal season. The Cowboys finished 7-10. They will be picking 12th. They got a bunch of money. We'll see if they spend it. We'll see if they pay Micah. We'll see if they fire McCarthy or bring back McCarthy. All this shit develops within the next couple weeks. We'll see what happens. Until then, let's go Cowboys. See you guys later.
Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst Boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Or whatever.
How about this, Cowboys?